Welcome back to Virgin Viewing. We went through episodes 10 through 14 this week. And we start off with a military action.
Gropos.
Gropos.
What did you just say?
Gropos.
Well, Gropos. We're Dr. Stephen Franklin's dad, Richard Firestorm Franklin.
Dick Franklin.
Dick Franklin.
Dick Franklin.
I don't know what you're trying to get at there.
Aptly named.
Right. He shows up with a bunch of military kids, young cadets right out of boot camp. Maybe just on leave. Maybe something else is going on. And Babylon 5's got a lot of military people hanging out. And then Garibaldi almost gets laid.
Yeah.
That's the story.
New cadets at like 27 years old. Brand new privates, 27. Not knowing what to do, whatever. Freaking crazy. Yeah, that was a weird thing too. Like Dodger, I guess she's supposed to be young, but she didn't look young. But then again, if she was actually like 19, that'd be super creepy for Garibaldi.
She didn't look old.
Yeah, but she looked like she was like 28. Am I just wrong, or is that just the 90s?
It's the 90s.
Oh, it's the 90s. Yeah. So yeah, they came with 25,000 troops. They were gonna go do a police action on Akbosh, and it was kind of cool because like this basically was a representation of American foreign policy in the entire 20th century. We're just, hey, we're going to keep this government in place. We understand that a bunch of the people don't like the government and like they could probably have a revolution, but this government's agreed to let us build a military base here and we'll keep an eye on anybody who might attack us. Yeah. American power. Empire.
Okay.
Cool. So we saw that low level or that pilot again. I forgot his name. Ramsey, what's his name?
Keffer.
It's Keffer.
Okay, we see Keffer. There's so many troops that they have to house them in wherever they can, including Keffer's apartment apparently. So he comes home and finds the dad from Kenan and Kel, who only talks in war stories, like any classic sage. And he's got a little companion, a little private companion who he's going to help shepherd through the war. Snap to them all being dead.
Privates Large and Yang.
His name is Large?
Yes.
Is it spelled different, or is he like Ken Large of the Connecticut Larges?
Ken Large. Yeah, PFC Large.
Cool. I'd prefer. I don't remember what Keenan's name was.
You prefer your privates medium.
We also see Stephen Franklin having a bit of a rough time communicating with his father and socializing with his father.
Yeah, Dad wants to kill things. Stephen does not want to kill things.
No, it's a cool kind of dichotomy where you have a guy who has spent his whole life trying to murder things, and specifically aliens, because he's talked about help your own kind and stuff like that. And Stephen curiously chose xenobiology as his medical specialty, and he just spends all his time trying to help little alien kids get surgeries and stuff. So yeah, they have some contentious relationship issues, and I don't know if this was like a put on or something like that, but his dad seemed super concerned that Stephen didn't call enough. Like, how come we don't talk to your mother?
That seemed like just banter. Like I think that was a throwaway banter. I don't think that was something you're supposed to take away.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But it could also be that his wife is a real nag. And like, whenever you see Steven, tell him to call.
Maybe his wife also was like, hey, son, you need to kill more things and stop having so much sex.
But yeah, so and when you have a station full of people who are trained to kill and been socialized to get off on killing and fighting, what happens? All of the fights.
There were a lot of fights.
A lot of fights. And Delenn almost got like beat up.
Maybe that's probably the best case scenario.
That's what
from where it was going.
Yeah. And Dodger had to come in and save the day. Which was nice. It was cool. I mean, I think a running theme in the episodes that we watched is that maybe we as viewers have kind of put off some of the remaining schism from the human Minbari War.
I don't like that word at all.
Maybe we've put off some of the ill feelings from the human Minbari War, the remaining ill feelings.
Okay.
But they definitely haven't.
I dig how in this episode there was a lot of like boys, let the boys be boys nonsense, where it's like, oh, now that would be all kinds of crazy legal stuff.
Yeah.
This episode also was the first time that I saw a moment where I thought Sinclair would have handled something really differently.
Which happened?
So this whole episode, you have a general who's coming in and throwing his weight around, right? Sinclair didn't seem super chuffed by the military. Like, it seemed like anyone who came on his station and told him what to do, while he would eventually do it, he would sass them first. Like, he's like, no, you don't tell me what to do. This is my station. Where immediately Sheridan was like flustered that there was a general hollering at him.
Yeah, no, he jumped to attention like real quick. Yeah.
He was flustered by the whole thing. Like he straight out went into the military. This is my superior. Where I don't think Sinclair would have done that. Hey, did Garibaldi always have a picture of Daffy Duck over his bed?
I was just thinking that too. I don't remember Daffy Duck being in there.
No, because he said Daffy Duck was the second, those were the second things that he liked most, I think.
The second favorite thing in the universe from season 1, yeah.
What was the first thing again?
It's presumed getting laid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now he can see Daffy Duck while he's getting laid? It's right over his bed? He must have put his motorcycle, his Kawasaki Ninja, into storage. Because he invited Dodger over and there was no motorcycle. She would have loved the motorcycle. She would have been all about it. He would have had sex on that motorcycle.
They could have rode it around during like the busy lunch hour on the station again.
Run over all the other gropos. Did they ever describe what gropos was supposed to be shorthand for?
It stands for ground pounders.
Yeah.
It's not an acronym, I don't believe. I believe it's just a shorthand.
The crazy veteran and the last batch that we saw specifically referred to gropos and ground pounders.
So Garibaldi almost got laid. And he got like any good 13-year-old boy, he got to the precipice of having the sexual intercourse, the coitus. And then he's like, I don't know how I feel about this. I have an ex-girlfriend who just got married, and that still hurts me, I guess, a little bit. So I don't know if I want to touch your no bits. And Dodger gets pissed.
Yeah, she does.
I don't know if it's me being a dude. I think she might have overreacted a little bit. But I've also known girls to react that way in a similar situation.
Have you ever tried to bed someone the day before they're most likely going to die?
No. But I've definitely had situations where, like, we're about to do something nasty, and then I'm like, I'm not really feeling this, and then she flips her freaking lid and leaves.
So now imagine flipping your lid and leaving because tomorrow you're probably going to die.
Yeah. Well, at that point, I don't think she thought she was going to die. Like, at that point, they were still under
she said, she went through her tirade of, you're thinking about settling down and I can possibly die tomorrow.
I suppose. But wasn't she still at that point still under the guise that they were going to go to IO?
No, I believe she also said that they're saying that she's staying on IO, but they don't handle that type of.
Yeah. She saw through the bullshit.
Yeah. That's what happens when you get to go to private school for an extra 5 years. Like you get more wise.
What did you think of the fight scene?
Weren't there several fight scenes?
Well, the food, like the big fight scene in the cafeteria where Keffer tried to be the cool guy and hey, let me buy you a drink. I'm sorry for knocking that drink out. I don't get drinks from fly boys. And then there was fighting, and Large had a great time.
He did. I like 90s fights because 90s fights are all one punch fights. Like you don't have a lot of scorekeeping or back and forth.
That fight looked very disorganized, not from like a fight perspective, but from a fight scene perspective. it looked like they just kind of grabbed anybody they could and put them in a uniform, and it's like, hey, can you pick up a chair and go like this?
It's probably what they did. Was there anything else in this episode, Ramsey? Anything else that we?
Not specifically. The Gropos, the subplots, and do you remember, John? Just as an aside, do you remember you played the Babylon 5 miniatures game? Do you recall the ground base, the Gropos expansion? Was that part of the one you played, or was it only the older one that I played? I don't know which version you ended up actually playing.
I think that was talked about. I never realized because Mongoose Publishing is a big ball of shit.
Yeah, it might have been the older. I think there was a previous version of it that existed before it was popular at the store, and I remember playing a ground-based.
Think of how terrible all of those miniatures would have been.
Yeah, I remember them very fondly, so that's fine. I'll just pretend that they looked cool. No, I don't think there's that much for the episode. You want to move on to episode 11?
Yeah, let's see that.
Yeah, episode 11, in which Sheridan is abducted by aliens, and Delenn isn't happy with how the Grey Council is being run. And also, maybe Sheridan makes a friend? How'd you guys feel about this kind of oddly structured episode?
I really liked that at the beginning of all the episodes, rather than like normal shows when they have the kind of the supporting characters that are only in there for an episode, like they put all their names at the end during the end credits. On Babylon 5, they put them all in the front credits.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, you can kind of see some characters are going to pop up, and I saw that there was a character named Narn. I was like, Jesus Christ, we're going to see the head Narn. His name is Narn. No wonder they're called the Narns. And no, it's just a Narn. Delenn gets called home, and she's got a Grey Council meeting. So she shows up thinking that she's going to have to explain herself to the Grey Council and all that stuff. And they tell her, like, sorry, bitch, you've been kicked out the Grey Council because we only allow Minbaris in Grey Council, and you're only kind of a Minbari now.
I think they keep referring to her as something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So
those people.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So they get to she gets the Grey Council. She's not allowed in the Grey Council meeting, but there's some sort of hearing or something that she gets to speak on behalf of herself, and she finds out that where the Grey Council is supposed to be 3 people from the military, like the warrior caste, 3 people from the religious caste, and 3 people from the government caste,
Worker caste.
From 3 people from the worker caste. They replaced her religious caste spot with a warrior caste man. And is it not the specific warrior caste guy from the military funeral Minbari episode?
Looked like it.
It looked like that dude who we really liked. Like, we really liked the actor.
Maybe you really liked the actor.
The actor was really good in that episode.
I remember going on record saying I don't like fat Minbari. There's no fat elves.
He's not fat.
It wasn't the fat elf.
Wasn't it?
You're talking about the guy who's like left on that planet. This is when like the super head military Minbari guy died.
Okay.
And his body got stolen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that dude was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Naroon.
Oh, you know something I forgot from the last episode?
What did you forget?
I enjoyed that we got the derogatory slang from Minbari as bonehead.
Boneheads. Yeah. Boneheads, lame brains, stroke off. So they replaced Delenn's religious caste seat with a 4th warrior caste seat, which I think is particularly telling because so far Delenn's been able to kind of run the Grey Council along her rabbit hole of human with Minbari souls and stuff like that. And I guess he just found out, like as soon as he got in the Grey Council, he's able to read that paperwork and figure out why they stopped the war. And he was livid. Apparently he doesn't care about Minbari souls. But yeah, they basically told her that she wasn't allowed back on Minbari, but please speak for our government because you still seem devoted to us, but we don't like you anymore, but please.
Maybe that's just like hey, you know where's a good place for you to be? Not here.
I guess. Like, but the thing is it's not like they're asking her to open up a store. They're asking her to speak for her for their government and run their foreign policy out of Babylon 5, which is a pretty high level job for somebody that you hate and don't think is one of you.
Hey, it was their intention for her to eventually do her cocoon thing anyways. She just did it before she was supposed to, correct?
I believe so. I believe it was part of the plan for her to cocoon into this semi-human form. However, yeah, they had a time, or it's not so much that they had a timeline, it's that there wasn't an agreement amongst the council, and she like begged them to let her do it, and they're like, nah, sister, we still need to spend more time figuring out if this whole theory of yours is correct. And she's like, nope.
It's like, no, this is episode 22. We need to get this done before the next season.
Yeah, there's nothing happening so far, guys. We got to get something done. Lanier, despite, I guess, other Minbari not really seeing her as Minbari, had this very heartfelt moment of like, I told you I was with you, so let's go.
So loyalty is a thing that I really like, and I dig how loyal he was. I would like for him to get an upgraded costume, maybe more befitting of his role as like a loyal bodyguard.
Well, he's supposed to be very modest, because is Lanier not part of the religious class as well?
Yeah,
dude, but he needs like a tight leather jumpsuit, some buckles, maybe like a biker jacket.
You know what's really starting to piss me off? So I never really noticed it until this season. I don't know if something changed, but the typical Minbari costume is the bone crown, and it goes over the actor's ears, and so they put little Minbari ears down here, and they move when they talk and like move their neck and stuff like that, and it's really disturbing to me.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Like they're just down here, and like it's freaking weird.
How'd they do it in Star Trek?
I don't think they moved anybody's ears ever in Star Trek. And the other thing too is like with the lens costume, where like the half bone crown, there were a couple episodes where I could see underneath it, like it was detaching from her face.
She's gonna re-cocoon, and that's gonna come off completely.
Is this gonna come off too? All right. So what was the other plot here?
Sheridan got kidnapped by aliens and had to fight, and also he had a dream.
Sheridan's bored. Sheridan used to be a captain of a big spaceship, and we've already seen him.
It's a lot of words. Sheridan went to space.
So he gets captured by these aliens. What were they called?
They're called the Streeb or Stribe.
The Stribes. That's right. And
it's gum?
It sounds like that's stride, maybe. And then he had to fight. Basically, they just brought people into his room so that he could fight them, so they could see how good of a fighter he is. It felt like Mortal Kombat.
Who did he fight?
The first person he fought was a Party City alien who didn't speak any English, and so they just fought, and he ended up killing him, stabbed him in the chest, and then he fought Narn.
The big guy, the guy in charge of the whole thing.
No. It was at the very beginning of the episode. There was a Narn that was just like flying its shuttle, and it got abducted. So yeah, shut up. But yeah, and then they had to escape because a soldier's first priority is to escape.
That was a really
first responsibility.
That was a really boring B plot.
I almost thought that was. I guess it almost seemed like it was supposed to be
a lot of these B plots. I could. Hey, why don't we cut out 20 minutes from this goddamn episode and just talk about the goddamn war?
It seemed like the MacGuffin that got him out was that the Minbari fought these guys once, and they didn't even really fight them because I guess the purpose of these aliens is to go out and find samples of other life forms, figure out how good they are, but they're not really expanding. I guess they came to Minbari space and they were doing this shit, and Minbari got all pissed off and followed them home one day and beat them up in their yard. But why are they taking samples? Like, it's a cool idea as far as like a
boredom.
I guess like I said, it's a cool idea for an alien race and for like strife to happen in the universe, but like you don't. I guess you do see one of them. They look weird. They look like drunken Bith. Star Wars,
like from
Star Wars.
Oh, I thought Back to the Future.
Biff Tannen. Oh, and then at the end of this episode is when when the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of Earth Force comes in,
General Haig,
and they basically lay out this whole Psychor conspiracy that we've been thinking about for a season.
Psychor dicks.
Yeah.
You can tell that they're dicks because they have bushy hair. This lets you. It's evil.
Okay. Sheridan admitted that he had been kind of trying to play a part and become a mole in this conspiracy by. I mean that's probably partially why he was so up to with General Dick, because he had to seem like a boy who falls in line real well, and General Dick definitely seems like a guy who might be in on this whole thing. But
there's no way the father of sexy doctor could be that much of a dick.
I guess
you can't raise a man like Steve Franklin and be that much of a dick.
I've been waiting for this whole Psychor story to progress, and this did not feel very progressive to me. I was not excited. Like when they started talking about this, I was all into it. I'm like, yeah, I want to learn some sweet stuff. It's going to give me a little bit more exposition, and it basically told me all the stuff I already knew.
I don't think it was going into a Psychor plot. It was going into this is what Sheridan does plot. I
guess, but it was a it was a big sequence. It was a big scene. It was long. I don't know. It didn't feel valuable for the effort put into it.
Well, you're wrong.
If this scene took the place of a flashback episode, 100% into it.
This is the second episode we watched, or the third episode?
Second.
That's the second episode we watched.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you guys catch the details of Sheridan's dream?
Oh yeah.
While he was abducted?
I didn't write it down. Do you remember, John?
No, I don't.
So he was abducted. He had a dream where Kosh was there, and like talking to him. I forgot what he said, but Ivanova was like shrouded behind him, and somebody was above him on like a balcony. Remind me of the dream.
If I'm trying to, I have to actually kind of remember it. The details. The details, I believe, was the person on the balcony above him was himself, was Sheridan in a Psychor uniform, I believe.
Yeah,
I think, or maybe he was dressed. I don't know.
I didn't catch the Psychor uniform.
I don't know if that's correct either. I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly. And then it was Ivanova, kind of shrouded in a veil. And what Kosh told him when he asked him like what he was doing there, and Kosh said he has always been here.
Yeah, his mind finally quieted down enough for him to hear or something like that. But that doesn't seem like... Why would Sheridan's mind be quiet? He's on a fucking alien spaceship. He got abducted. And this big spider robot come down. Yeah, he is at ease.
Well, I will give you my opinion to that. You could say that when he's dealing with all of the politics and conspiracies, and he's got too many things going on in his mind. He's too many problems. When he's got to just survive and be fighty guy, military guy, when he's got one singular goal, that's the first time in forever his mind's been focused and effectively quiet.
He's, as you would say, 90s Captain Curtis.
So the next one you guys watched, episode 12, I believe, Acts of Sacrifice. This is one where a lot of interesting little bits of Narn stuff happens in the foreground, and then Ivanova has to deal with some more politics. So, what'd you guys think? How's this one?
What did you like, John?
It was a fun episode, I guess. Yes. Ivanova dealt with politics. Narn shit happened.
The A plot was the Narn and Centauri, basically the social consequences of Londo's war, which it pretty much is Londo's war. Every big step towards this new war against the Narn has been done by one single guy.
It has, yeah.
Londo and the Devil. But it started with a couple of bar fights, and it looked like it was going to become real heated. Garibaldi and the security had to break it up. But that one Centauri just couldn't let good enough alone, and he started beating up Narn in the hallways.
Hey, it's super weird. So like, if you're running around the streets, you can talk all the shit that you want to, right? But if you're like in a military run thing, how do you get away with like inciting someone to fight like feet away.
Well, because I mean, you have to think in this situation, like, so Babylon 5 is the space UN, and rather than each people from being different countries, like different races are essentially different, like national representatives almost to a certain extent, or foreign nationals. So if he were to prosecute those Centauri for trying to start a riot or something like that, like that becomes an interstellar incident.
But you don't go to like a military base and like, we really killed those guys good. We should kill them more. Like while the other people are standing
correct, but
feet away.
But I do definitely think that in the UN, things like that have happened, right? I do think that around Ukraine there have been some Russian nationals, some Russian foreign service guys who are like, hey guys, remember that whole peninsula that wasn't ours but is now? And like the Ukrainians were about to fight for it.
Also, what the hell is a Zocalo?
Yeah, what is that? Is that like the embassy section? Is that what that's supposed to be?
No, the Zocalo is like the marketplace. I remember it being referenced. I remember reading it somewhere that it is actually a term that is used for like a grand marketplace. And so when they go all the shops, all that stuff, the restaurants, that's all around the Zocalo.
So some Narn end up kidnapping and probably killing, or definitely killing a Centauri. And I remember, so there's a scene where Jakar goes into Sheridan's office, and he's begging for help to try to, you gotta get you gotta give us aid for the Centauri. You gotta give us to fight the Centauri. And Sheridan says something. Basically, they get in a bit of an argument about who started it. And back and forth, and Sheridan's made the comment like, "Look, we can keep going back and forth, and we'll start bringing up stuff from 100 years ago." And that brought me right back to this like Israeli-Palestinian conflict sort of thing. Like, well, the Israelis, took our homes and stuff like that. Yeah, well, the Palestinians kicked us out in the first place, and so on and so forth. And that's been something that's actually held up that whole conflict over there has just been people not bringing up things that happened 1,000 years ago, as if they're relevant today, which is bullshit.
It's not bullshit if you want a reason to fight.
That's true. So on top of this, we're seeing that Londo is struggling. He's got some of the prestige that he's always wanted, but along with it comes a bunch of people who want stuff out of him. And at first, I'm sure that's something he was looking for, but now it's annoying, and he feels surrounded by people who are just remora, who are just riding his coattails, trying to get stuff out of him, and he's struggling to find people that actually like him for him. Not even his wife likes him. And he chose Garibaldi. He
already kind of had a relationship established with Garibaldi, until he became douchebag, and Garibaldi's like, can't be friends with douchebags.
Yeah.
Although he's also friends with losers.
Londo or Garibaldi?
Garibaldi.
Yeah. Yeah, but the one thing, like, if you're a loser, you can be a loser and not, like, there's a difference between, hey, you made bad choices in your life and you have the wrong priorities, and, hey, you have the wrong priorities and made the bad choices, and you also have started a war.
Londo was not washed up enough to be friends with Garibaldi. Like, if
he was before, though.
If Londo was once a great ambassador, and now he fell and he needed to do his comeback tour, that's Garibaldi all the way.
I liked. Did you like the fight scene with Jakar fighting for dominance with the other Narn?
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
They look like Zoidbergs. They look like Zoidberg running around. They also made a reference that implies that Narn are marsupials.
I missed that.
He basically called his opponent a pouchling.
Oh, cool.
So to me, that implies that Narn are potentially marsupials, or are familiar with marsupials, very familiar with marsupials. Just like we call people whelps at times, I presume.
Maybe pouch means something different to Narns.
You're like in your butt, like a prison pouch.
They have their own language. Just for convenience sake, they speak in English so you can watch the episode without subtitles.
That's too bad. So Jakar gets poisoned, but he muscled through it. We also saw his assistant come back. She's been in the credits for 12 episodes, and I think this is the second time we saw her. Maybe she popped up in the first episode of the season. So welcome back. What's her name?
Oh, Nata?
Exactly.
I think.
She saved his life one time and then didn't show up for 12 episodes.
She was in the pouch.
She was pouching it up. We saw Jakar going back and forth between the humans and the Minbari trying to get aid for the war, and both of them turned it down primarily for political reasons. Although I think Delenn implied that, well, if we help the Narn win the war and they win the war, what's to stop the Narn from then invading Centauri space?
Hey, I don't like that I can't tell the difference between Jakar crying and laughing.
That happened. He did a laugh cry. What was that? I don't think, I think there's a difference between him laughing and crying. It's just that Jakar is desperate. Like, he clearly feels the loss of all his people in this war and stuff like that. And he had just agreed to a sort of like Berlin airlift where, hey, we'll fly a bunch of food into these places to help the refugees, and on our way out, we'll just load up with refugees to get them out to other Narn places or something like that. But we're just transporters. We're not helping, we're not sending troops or anything like that. And so maybe that was like a halfway point between exactly, I mean, it's a good compromise for exactly what he wanted and nothing at all.
But that laugh cry, like, that was a Skeletor laugh. That was straight out like he's stealing something next round.
Yeah,
he's taking their pouch.
Yeah, I mean the dude he's effed up. This is a fucking crazy trying time for him. Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for Jakar. I'm liking Jakar more and more. I wasn't really keen on him. I think I said when we watched the pilot short that he just seemed like a throwaway villain, but I don't like. Between like the religion stuff and especially now that the war's going on, Jakar is a freaking boss.
It's weird. So it seemed like when he started off, he took any excuse that he could for violence. Like he relished it. And now every time that you see him, he's very much trying to avoid fighting. Like we need to figure out a way to stop this.
It seemed like in the early episodes, like he was there as the violent race. That they're just more violent. They have a violent system. They're violent government. They're violent society. All that stuff. But now, especially in the second season, we're seeing a lot more, I guess, reasoning behind it. On top of all this, Veer is having a crisis of conscience, and we see Talia Winters just long enough for Veer to accidentally pat on her boobies, and then she walks away.
Like when he touched her, and she was like, "Are you okay?" It seemed like he was ready to say, "Oh shit, there's a thing." He's like, "Nope, I'm crazy."
Well, she's a psychic, and
I know,
and Veer is intimately familiar with all the details of Londo's
correct
schemes. So perhaps he's afraid to be around her because she's going to read his mind.
Yeah. So he immediately, like, once he realized that she could read his, no, because she touched him, and earlier in the show it was established that she could get visions of people just by being close to them. It was particularly intense.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think it was like one of those things where like he realized that immediately? He's like, "Oh, I better act like I'm super weird."
Maybe
to cover up.
I didn't even think about that, but that's very insightful. I'm surprised. One thing I noticed as well. Did you notice that? I think it was this episode where it started that Londo's uniform changed.
Did it change?
His coat was always like a deep purple, like a Roman royal purple.
Purple.
And now it's like more of a midnight blue, like a darker shade. Definitely, he looks more jackboot than before. He just looked like kind of a, but now he looks more serious. Yeah, I also think that he changed his wig. I think his wig's a bit thicker now as well. Altogether, he looks a bit more prim. I don't know if that's like he's doing that because he has more prestige in his society now, or if this is like a sign of his depression for the decisions he's made.
He certainly looks different, but I don't know if it's something story-wise or if it's just the season 2. Hey, look, we have more money and more people are watching, so everyone needs to look a little bit better.
But like, I don't remember him having this coat before. And actually, in a couple of the episodes, you still see his portrait, which I think his portrait looks sweet. The portrait,
it does.
It's super sweet. But in that portrait, he's still wearing that light purple thing. So it's not like they're trying to retcon it or anything like that. I think it's just like a serious uniform change. Perhaps they're his wartime robes.
Maybe.
Now that they're at war, he has to wear wartime robes. So the Narn kill that guy who was inciting violence, and Sheridan and everybody and Delenn were super worried that this was going to become a real thing. And Garibaldi had a drink with Londo and made Londo feel a little bit better about being alone and being a giant asshole. And so Londo's like, yeah, well, nobody liked this dude. No, this dude had no family. He didn't really have a good job. Nobody cared anything about this guy. So, yeah, you need to deport the Narn, not kill the Narn, just deport him and steal all his stuff and sell it and give us the money, all $90. I thought that nobody expected that. That was super cool.
That was cool.
Is this Londo still fighting against? Like,
I don't think so. I mean, it just seems like he's
like, is this short term because he was looking for friends to kind of hang out with and stuff like that, and finally Garibaldi had a drink with him, and so he was kind of riding high from that, or is this old Londo trying to eke through a little bit, trying to fight through this malaise of ambition?
I think it's probably more the former. Like, I think it's more just, I'm in a good mood. Let me do this thing.
That's too bad.
It'll probably benefit me in the long run, anyways.
I really can't wait for the redemption of Londo, because that's gonna be it's gonna be something big. It's gonna be some big sweet shit. Cool. So the Lumetri guys, they're supposed to be this really hardcore future or technologically savvy race, and they show up, and it appears to be some sort of like symbiotic relationship, and he's got this dude next to him who's apparently a psychic that is interpreting human speech up to his lofty level, and then his speech dumbing it down to human talk. And this guy is all about like evolution, like capitalistic evolution almost.
Yeah, I dug it.
It's the kind of stuff that the Nazis were doing. Like, I've been watching Man in the High Castle, and one of the main character's kids was found to have some sort of genetic disorder, some like Lou Gehrig's disease or something like that, or MS, and the kid's like hardcore party Nazi, and he's like, well,
Poncho,
I'm useless.
Poncho, there's no Nazis in Babylon 5.
I think there actually are Nazis in Babylon 5, but this is hardcore. Like, well,
they would be part of Earth Force, actually.
Isn't it? It's too bad that your kid has, it's great.
Earth Force Nazis. Are we supporting Nazis?
Probably. It's great that your kid has MS, because then we can kill them and make our bloodline stronger. Like, pull them out of the breeding pool. It's freaking crazy ridiculous. But Ivanova is back on the job, being hostess with the mostest around Babylon 5, showing them around, and they love space hobos. Their favorite part was going to the down below and showing space hobos. But I didn't really grasp what their reasoning was. It's like, oh, not only do you,
because it creates a caste system and lets you control the population.
Yeah, I guess so. There you go. We're gonna create hobos in our society now too. Thanks. And that's what it took to reveal that no, they were not actually a symbiotic relationship. It was all a ruse. And then the only way that they seal agreements is not in handshake, but in coitus. And so Ivanova had to have sex with him, and she didn't want to, so she made up fake sex, which was really just bouncing around and saying catchphrases.
I think it was dancing.
She threw her hair around a lot.
I'm pretty sure it was a sex dance.
I forgot that it actually happened, so I was looking through my notes before we did this, and I saw my note, WTF sex ? I did not know what I was talking about until Ramsey reminded me. Yeah, cool sex. I think I'm gonna try that sometime.
The sex dance?
That sex dance, yeah. We just touch their hand. That's how it's passed.
Garibaldi should have tried that. The Dodger.
He wasn't ready for any kind of sex.
He wasn't ready for sex. Wasn't ready for the hand sex. But it worked somehow. Because I guess that shows how advanced that race is. And the little dwarf guy caught onto it immediately, and he thought it was funny too. But I don't know why he's laughing. He's got to ride home with that guy.
Probably, maybe he hates that guy. Like, maybe he just went and said, "Hey, that was just a dance."
No, I'm sure he definitely hates him. But it almost seems like that race is kind of like, perhaps they're kind of like the bad guys in Halo, where they have a head race, and there's just a bunch of other races that like fight for them or do whatever they can find in their culture. And like, great, you saw that guy get had, but you're about to go back and become slave again. So
I have a challenge for you. We have one more episode.
I think 2 more episodes.
We have 2 more episodes.
One of the 2 episodes, whole thing, don't make any references to anything but Babylon 5. Because this is a Babylon 5 show. We're not talking about Halo or Star Trek or The Man in the High Castle.
How about the last episode? I'll do it the last episode. The next episode, I have references.
So the next episode you guys watched was episode 13, Hunter, Prey, in which Dr. Everett Jacobs, the former physician of now President Clark, runs to Babylon 5, being pursued by EarthGov for some sort of reason, and he runs afoul of Bull Shannon of Night Court fame.
Damn it! That's my reference.
And you couldn't remember his name, so I'm taking it. And also Sheridan talks to Kosh. So this one, take it away.
So it opens with Kosh's ship, and that ship is awesome. Way to go, Amiga. It's a ship that talks through the hull, which is pretty cool. If weird, but it's a living ship. They reveal that it's a living ship. It's a biomechanical ship that transforms.
Looks like one of those foam bike helmets.
It kind of does. It kind of does. I wonder if the whole thing can change shape in general. Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool if, like, you shoot at it and it just kind of forms around the bullet? That'd be pretty. No wonder.
Still an Amiga.
That's true, I suppose. The guy's name is Dr. Jacobs, right? Did you like how he was trying to hide on Babylon 5 with the most sinister mustache?
Yeah, he's well, he wants people to think he's a bad guy.
I guess.
No one looked for the bad guys, or no one finds the bad guys.
Absolutely. That's why
they look for them, but they don't find them.
That's why he survived. I think this also was like one of the episodes we've talked about how the bad guys in Babylon 5 look like bad guys. You look at that guy and you're like, that guy's evil. This guy didn't look particularly evil. Not Jacobs, but the Earth Force guy that came in to head up the investigation, or the Secret Service guy who came to head the investigation.
This is the guy from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, from Lambda. Yes, it is the guy from Revenge of the Nerds.
That dude.
Hold on a second. No, John, I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin your flow, but I need to stop you here, right? So you just fucking went off on me for referencing stuff that wasn't Babylon 5, and the first thing you do in this episode is reference something that's not Babylon 5?
That's because I don't think it's PC to say that's a black guy.
What are you talking about?
I couldn't think of anything else to describe the dude. I don't think it's PC to say it's the black guy.
So rather than saying it's the black guy, you said the guy from Revenge of the Nerds. The actor played a character who was the head of a completely black fraternity.
But I didn't have to say it's the black guy. So I was pretty annoyed by how bad of an actor that guy is.
Really?
He's really bad. He could do pissed off pretty well. When he was pissed off, that worked. That flowed nice, and that's what he did in Revenge of the Nerds. That's why it worked. This was like Shaquille O'Neal, like acting, like it was straight out.
I am Kazam. That's 2 references to not Babylon 5. But yeah, no. So Dr. Jacobs is the vice president's personal physician, and whereas the vice president left Earth Force One prior to it exploding on the guys that he was sick, had food poisoning or something like that, this doctor has evidence that he was not in fact sick or food poisoned. And they were going to off him, and he figured it out. So he boosted with all his records on a tiny little crystal. And he was in the down below hiding, and he got captured by Night Court. He's a big scary guy, but he seems too nice to be a scary bounty hunter.
And he wasn't a scary bounty hunter. He was a big pussy face.
He had a sweet mustache.
Like
though.
it took angry Garibaldi. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Give me the thing. There was no back and forth. It was like, oh, this thing, here you go.
That was really quick. Yeah, but Garibaldi was sweet noir private dick.
Yeah. So, what year does this take place in?
The year is 2258.
It's way in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to blend into a crowd, you still put on a trench coat and a fedora, and you're the only one wearing that.
I think he was.
But he's the only guy dressed to go out in the rain.
No,
in Hobo Town.
So another thing I particularly enjoyed in this episode is Garibaldi and Stephen Franklin are down in the down below, and they'd been working for hours, and they needed to have a snack, so they both had granola bars, and they had the hardest time opening those granola bars. Garibaldi spent like 30 seconds opening a granola bar.
They posed with them. The granola bar, those wrappers are hard to open, but they posed with them. Like, that looked like an endorsement that went south.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I like also, too, how Dr. Franklin got called out for his bad vouching in this one. It's like, no, this doctor was a stand-up guy. He taught me all this stuff. And then Garibaldi's like, but the last time you vouched for a guy, we were fighting a big robot.
So Sheridan's trying his best to kind of hinder the investigation without seeming like he's hindering it. He almost got there, and I think he still had like some sort of plausible deniability that he wasn't really trying to hinder anything. And then at the very end, when when Kosh allows the Jacobs to crawl into a little gooey mucus womb into the spaceship and fly away, I think Sheridan's like, what? You mean this means he was never here? Oh my God, you have made my entire security staff do things that didn't need to be done on your wild goose chase. Like, he was really swinging his dick really hard on there.
Hey, I like Spirit Guide Kosh as much as I like Ramsey Kosh. That's not good. Like, it's not a lot.
Yeah, why don't you like Spirit Guide Kosh?
I hate characters that know what the fuck is going on and don't tell people what the fuck is going on. Like, that is such a stupid thing.
But like, I think they're trying to build the Vorlons as like maybe not prescient or even particularly like wise.
Then he should not be Spirit Guide. Then he should just go back to being the pile of sporting equipment that just hangs out and does stuff.
I think Kosh is supposed to be like the supreme antagonist and not necessarily supposed to or trying to change Sheridan as a protagonist, but trying to change kind of the discord of the galaxy. He's trying to mold things. He's trying to push people towards certain things.
I don't like that character. I don't like the character. I don't like the way he looks.
Just like how he talks.
I think I like his voice.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
All this shit with Sheridan running around the fucking alien brown quarter or whatever it is, which is funny because brown's the color of poop. I've been hoping that we'll see the praying mantis mob boss guy again.
What happened to that guy?
I think he got boosted.
Yeah, I hate to spoil that because I don't want you to go 5 seasons anticipating it. Yeah, I don't think we ever see a return.
They had to send him back.
He was super sweet.
Like, one of his
costume got wet.
one of his hinges got broke, and they didn't want to put it back. Like that sucks. Like I think that character could have done a lot of cool stuff here. We already have Kefir in there as like a groundable dude.
He could have stood with the hobos and swayed like he did before.
I think it would have been cool. As opposed to going to all these nefarious down below human villains, they could have gone to. It seemed like they were going to set him up to be the crime boss, but I think having a crime boss that never gets caught as recurring would be a little silly. Like, eventually Garibaldi would arrest him. So
man, there's a lot of weird shit happening around that praying mantis. Can't be him.
And I also wish that there was more like praying mantis aliens, like good upstanding citizen praying mantis aliens, like running around.
Garibaldi would go down looking for praying mantis guy, and he'd just be like a praying mantis in a fedora and a raincoat, and Garibaldi would be like, well, he was here before.
The final episode that you watched, there all the honor lies.
Which is a stupid name. That's a name for like a 2-bit shitty D&D show on YouTube.
Oh wait! I gotta finish synopsising this. Sheridan killed a guy. That's the plot.
So the whole gift shop thing. What did you think of the gift shop thing?
I thought it was awesome. I thought Lando doll looked as good as Lando doll looked as good as Lando costume.
It had his original purple costume though, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought the same production values were put into both the guy and the doll. Hey, why did they make Sheridan a teddy bear?
I think they also made him a doll.
They didn't show a doll. They showed a teddy bear. They couldn't afford 2 dolls.
No. They had like 4 dolls. They had a doll for each of the ambassadors, but I thought Sheridan was also a doll. I could be wrong.
Why would he take offense at the teddy bear then,
Thank
and
you.
not the doll?
Thank you. Well, I think that was the joke. Is Londo was pissed off that his doll didn't have big enough balls, apparently.
Or any balls.
Any balls.
Or tentacles.
Which is weird, but okay. And that was supposed to be the flip side, is that Sheridan didn't want to be a big fluffy teddy bear in a baseball cap, I guess. I don't know. So my favorite part
They got Kefir in this one too, right?
Yeah. My favorite part about this episode is when Ivanov was in the gift shop and there were guys trying on alien masks.
That was fucking weird.
And like, I just wrote Party City in big letters. Like, look, we got Party City masks for people. We got Party City masks for aliens. And they had like a human, and they'd like turn the camera and came back, and it was really an alien, and they basically replaced it with an alien in a fake human mask. That in like a Mission Impossible mask. That is fantastic. That was awesome. That I was ready to freaking shit on B5, the merchandise store, but that made it worth it. The whole sequence worth it.
I thought it weird that they didn't have a gift shop already. Like I assumed if you have people coming in, you have a gift shop.
Well, no. I mean, there are shops that sell things, but there may have been people selling Babylon 5, like unlicensed Babylon 5 merchandise, like a shirt with Babylon 5 on or something like that.
That's the show that we need.
Babylon 5, the lunchbox. Babylon 5, the toilet paper. Babylon 5, the flamethrower. Merchandising.
Weren't you supposed to not make a non-B5
Shit.
No!
reference
I didn't.
for this episode?
Well, since we're doing it, they also made a dig at the fact that you're not some sort of deep space franchise, which is possibly considered to be a dig at maybe Deep Space Nine, which was airing.
That's kind of cool.
I don't know if that's the case, but that's a thing.
It seemed like it, because if not, they would have said that they were not some sort of theme park if they weren't trying to.
Right. Yeah. So we all referenced something that wasn't B5. So you're all
Sorry.
You're off the hook.
I grew up on Family Guy. So yes, Sheridan gets pickpocketed or pick-wristed, and as he chases after him, he gets bum rushed by a Minbari warrior caste, and knocked on the ground, and grabs the conveniently handy pistol without thinking about it, and blasts the dude in the chest, kills him.
That's what you do when you're American.
Yeah, and then the only
USA.
The only witness to this incident is a Minbari with what is probably the largest head. I think it's because the actor had hair and they just had to like go over it all. But that dude had like a 3-inch head. Like, it was nuts. Especially when you look next to Lanier.
That's why he was capable of lies. He has more headspace.
He looks like what the villain became in that Green Lantern movie. Just like all bulbous and shit. But yeah, we were exploring the whole Minbari lie thing.
Poncho, that's another reference.
Thank you. All right, to basically get a confession out of this warrior caste Minbari, Lanier had to go undercover.
They did Minbari capoeira.
Did you like the cross chop? Freaking cross chop. I about shit my pants laughing when I saw him cross chop. And then freaking ridiculous. So that was great. Rather than making Lanier wear a wire, they just hid in the bedroom.
I wish humans took like the old like pugilist stance for like our martial arts.
Veer and Londo had to have a long talk, and Veer's like, look, I'm kind of a screw up. The only reason they sent me here is because I couldn't mess anything up because nobody liked you anyways, Londo. But now that people do like you, they're replacing me with somebody who's actually good at their job.
Do you think they made a Veer doll? They had to make a Veer doll.
Maybe
Veer was
if they had as much money as Star Wars did.
Maybe Veer was the one that you get like a piece of. Like maybe if you buy Londo,
like Groot,
you get a Veer leg, and then if you buy like Garibaldi, you get like the Veer torso.
I find that unlikely. That's more likely Kosh. But yeah, and Londo in another effort to secure what security, secure himself against some of the people who want to tear him down or potentially are only in it to ride his coattails. He kept Veer on post.
I like how like in one phrase he both compliments the guy and threatens to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Londo. Yeah, that's what happens when you hang out with the devil.
Is Londo the devil and Veer's hanging out with him?
No, Londo's hanging out with the devil, and therefore it affected Londo. Because
Londo was hanging out with Veer and Garibaldi. Which one's the devil?
But yeah, no, we saw Veer become a bit more of a character. We already knew that Veer was dedicated to Londo. That's why he stood up to a Balrog, a techno Balrog. So I guess the big part of these 4 episodes or these 5 episodes was just filling in some of the characters and making them bigger.
They want to show everyone has a loyal sidekick.
I guess, yeah. All the loyal sidekicks came out. What was Kefir doing in this episode?
Flying.
Keffering.
Looking at
we saw at the very end because Sheridan spaced the fucking teddy bear because it's funny. In the middle of Sheridan dealing with the fact that he was probably framed for murder, which we never really talked about at all, but Sheridan was framed for murder.
Stupid ass spirit guy Kosh comes again.
Kosh comes in and is like, "Hey, we got to do some training." Sheridan's like, "Dude, I'm fucking busy." No, you got to come with me to the down below and talk to a monk. And then all other monks, he thought those were just piles of shit, but really they were just shitty monks. And they did a Gregorian chant, and he thought it was great.
How is there a derelict portion of the ship?
They don't use it. It's not used for anything.
It was just a pretty goddamn new ship. They have a portion of the ship that's like, we're not gonna fix that part. We're just gonna leave shit dangling.
Well, I mean, all shit goes down low, down below. That's where the shit accumulates. It's the bilge. It's a bilge.
You have a space station floating around in space, dodging wobbly flying things coming at it.
I believe it flies in space, but yeah.
And a chunk of it is just, we don't need to finish that part. We'll just let it be ruins.
I guess.
They built ruins.
Well, I'm sure it was used for like storage for a while. That's the other thing though. That's also a point. Is at the very beginning of all our episodes we watched, it was Gropos. They were having trouble housing all these freaking Gropos. Like, why were they putting people in other people's apartments? Send them down to the down below. Fucking.
Then the hobo problem would be 25,000 people. You have all kinds of hobos down there.
I know, but you got all this extra space down there. You got fucking space monks sitting there with a bowl. Like you could have easily fit 50 Gropos in that one chamber. But no, they left it for the space monks.
I don't get this whole hobo ruins thing. It's so stupid.
It was weird. I mean, I'm sure that portion was.
I took a tour of a carrier a couple times. Once in Charleston, once in New York. There was no hobos there. There was not like a planned hobo section. People didn't just wander on and like, oh, you don't have a job or a purpose here? Why don't you go to the hobo district? This is the hobo deck.
I'm sure these spaces were used in the construction of the vessel, and now that they built all the good stuff. Did you like how in that one episode they tried to explain why there were hobos there again, like a second time, and you weren't compelled by that explanation either? They had a job when they came on, then they lost their job and they couldn't pay to leave.
You send them out.
Yeah, it really sounds like you're running like a military junta on Babylon 5. It's supposed to be a place of peace.
But it's run by the military.
Yeah, but
you think the military is going to be like, hey, there's this population that we don't have a lot of control over that's poor and could potentially uprise and upset the station. Let's just let them hang out in the bowels of the station.
I don't think that they're potentially going to.
The same military that's like, hey, look, Cubans. Go Cubans. They're okay with hobos on their station, but they don't want Cubans in Cuba?
Mm-mm. I got nothing. I can't do anything with that. That reminds me, check out some of our other content on the Amorous Armadillo YouTube page, like Roads Not Taken, our exploration of various realms in Dungeons & Dragons, and sweet-ass characters.
Isn't that like a Robert Frost poem, too?
Nope. It is mutually exclusive from a Robert Frost poem. And check out our Facebook page. We are The Amorous Armadillo on Facebook. Send us some likes and stuff there. We're starting to do a bit more social media stuff because we're trying to be more social. We're going outside. We're nerds.
Good night.
Nah, it's not good enough. Give it.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Woozle wazzle.
Yeah. What's from Mork and Mindy?
Nanu nanu.
Nanu nanu.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
No, no,
It's good to leave the show on a reference to another show.
Other sci-fi show. No.
Live long and prosper.
No. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate everybody.
Hakuna Matata.
We really appreciate everybody liking and
Mahalo.
God damn it. We really appreciate all the fan service we've been getting
Later,
lately.
dudes. Fan service.
You.
I don't like fan service. Fan service is negative.
We've really been appreciating all the comments and stuff we've been getting from people who are.
It means no worries.
God damn it. We're gonna run out of fucking tape.
It's not tape. It's digital.
See you next time, guys.
Off.